So let's complete Petrotrin now in this episode 2, and we can go back to Petrotrin later on. And let's go to Point Lisas, where we can discuss the storage for Point Lisas.
Hello, and welcome back to session 2 of Reshaping Our Energy in Trinidad and Tobago and our energy ministry in Trinidad and Tobago. So the last time I spoke about the storage facility for crude oil in this area. So I will show you that again. And this is the storage facility, and we are looking at probably 24 tanks for storage. This is our plan 1. Plan 2, so we got the refinery, which will be waiting to start. So instead of starting the refinery, this should be the first project of reshaping the refinery or the land that surrounding the refinery. And this crude oil storage facility should be our starting point of this whole development before the refinery starts. Then here I have put in another development after the crude oil development. This is a small blending facility that I have put in here. So this blending facility is what I can discuss very shortly, and then we will move on to the Point Lisas development. So here is a small biodiesel, biogasoline blending plant, which is a simple blending plant. There's no big economics in this, and there's no big maths, and there's no big expenditure also. So these are the small tanks which carries the bio products, like for example, let's say rapeseed oil, or maybe other oil that you will use for blending the diesel, right? And then you have the ethanol instead of blending with alkylate, because in Europe nobody blends with alkylate anymore. They're blending ethanol as well. So they call the gasoline E10, and they call the diesel B10. So B10 stands for biodiesel, which means 10% of the bio product, or rapeseed oil, or whatever oil. FAME is another name for it. FAME. It's another name. It's come from vegetable oils. This I can discuss in another session, but here we're just talking about the facility at the moment. So with these products, it's blend into normal diesel, which is heavy diesel, or what we call gas oil in other terms. And when we add the gas oil and you add the bio 7% or 10%, the bio product into the heavy diesel, or what we could call gas oil, and then we add another product that is called kerosene, which is downgraded from jet fuel, or jet E1. So these three products combines make diesel, makes biodiesel. This biodiesel is then sold on the European market. The gasoline, it's basically it's made from reformate, which is 60% of the gasoline is from reformate, which is straight. It's a product that comes from the refinery, and this reformate makes up 60% of our gasoline. The other 40% of the gasoline is made up from naphtha and other products like ethanol or alkylate. And there's some other components that is made up the gasoline as well that I'm not going to go into right now. But anyway, these products can be stored here and can be transferred onto these tanks here, or blend into these tanks here in a proportion, and then you will have here these bigger tanks. You will have blended up a tank of gasoline, a tank of diesel, whichever. So each bun, let's say 4 tanks will be gasoline, 4 tanks will be diesel, or what we say biodiesel, and you have 4 tanks remaining here. So, or you can use them 6 by 6. So these tanks now, after they are made into gasoline or diesel, biodiesel, biogasoline, this goes on the market. There are several countries that use this in Europe now, and they buy quite a large quantity. And the quantity, basically, if you're lifting from US or South America area, you can be lifting something around 100,000 tons of diesel or gasoline. So this small little facility you're looking here can do that, right? And these products can be sold on the market, not only in Europe, but other Caribbean countries, as well as other South American countries. And other countries will purchase it as well. The whole point about this plant is that to use the facility to create jobs, and use the facility also to bring Trinidad and Tobago back in the energy market. And with Plan A and Plan B, and without the refinery, we still can do it, and it can still be done. So this is Plan A, this is Plan B. Plan C is the refinery. That can come in after, right? If you can see that I am not using Venezuela, and I'm not speaking about Venezuela in this plan, and I'm not speaking about Exxon or Guyana. We don't need these countries to do what we are doing here. So now I'm going to move on to Point Lisas. This is a vague map of Point Lisas. It's as you can see, if I move this here, it's some familiar names of companies that you will know. So what I have done here, I have put a storage, sort of a storage area here as well. And I have put another storage area here as well. So this is this. So this is just one. You have all here as well to deal with in Point Lisas. So Point Lisas can be a really massive storage facility. You can store a lot of product into Point Lisas. And this is what I have done here at Point Lisas. This is Point Lisas here, and this will be Point Lisas. Reshaping Point Lisas into a chemical storage facility where we store all different types of chemical in South America. And I'm talking about chemicals from benzene, you name it, whatever chemical is on the market and traders and other companies want to store, they will be able to store here. And we will make it in such a way that there are different tank farms. If you see, there are very small tanks and there are very huge tanks. So you open the market up for big and small storage. So you capture the market in every angle. So you have small areas, small tanks for small companies, and then you have big tanks for big companies. And they are all located in Point Lisas. And these tanks here are going to be storing mostly chemical. So the whole of Point Lisas is going to be reshaped into a chemical storage facility. That's what Point Lisas is going to be. Whereas Point Appear is petrochemical storage. So this is Point Lisas in short, and this will give us quite. This is another drawing, or what should I say? This is Point Lisas here, and I have just bring this here, just to show you what Point Lisas could be like in the future if we reshape Point Lisas, right? So if you look here, this is where Trinidad and Tobago is located, and this is where the most journey vessels or ship are coming from Point Lisas. Sorry, not Point Lisas, from Europe straight through the Panama Canal and goes to the US. Have a look at this photo. I've just downloaded this photo, and this is, if you go on marine traffic, you will see all the vessels that are passing through. And all the vessels that pass through, they pass this way, they are flowing through here, they are going through the Panama Canal and going to the US and so forth. And they are coming through there as well, and they are going to Europe. So Trinidad and Tobago is in a strategic location for tankage and for storing fuel. Right? So this is just a wee bit about how we can create this storage facility and bring this to not only to other countries, but also we'll be able to create a lot of jobs in the area or in Trinidad and Tobago, in Point Lisas, in Point Petrotrin, and we will be able to create jobs back again. And a lot of companies is folding up in Point Lisas now. So the land and the infrastructure are all there, right? So if we look clearly, we can see this could be a valuable asset for Trinidad and Tobago, and it can reshape Trinidad and Tobago, redevelop Trinidad and Tobago, create jobs, and help us to get back on the energy ladder again. Without opening the refinery, without Venezuela gas, without anything from Venezuela, without Exxon, and without anybody else, we can reshape Trinidad and Tobago back again in the energy market. Thank you. Once you have chemicals stored in an area, then the manufacturing aspect and the manufacturing part of it comes in. And the manufacturing part don't have to be local, it can be international. So a lot of international companies will invest in the area. They will start opening the factories to manufacture products, different types of products, because the chemicals will be stored there. Right? So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, we are going to be recycling. Also, if we start our recycling, the recycling is another area where manufacturers use that recycled material then to make back other material. So it's a lot of things to discuss. There's a lot of things to discuss. And why the port should come here is because these companies that is going to be manufacturing things, it's easy for the port to be close by so it can be shipped out of the country. So the port in Port of Spain is not really ideal. It needs to come to Point Lisas because this whole industry is going to go hand in hand, step 1, step 2, step 3. So have a think about it. This is a plan that I have for Point Lisas, and I think it's a great plan. I think it can put Point Lisas forward again into the industry and making it back a great place to have. Remember that Point Lisas has certain certain infrastructure that can be used. Just like Petrotrin. Petrotrin have infrastructure, jetty, all these infrastructure already there. So these infrastructure tends to go hand in hand with development, other development. That's why I have other development for the area, because we're halfway there with the infrastructure. Now, Point Lisas will need new infrastructure like here, and here, but it's some things are already in place where we can start with. So it's not like we are starting from scratch, right? Now, our country has advantage. Remember that Point Lisas, Point Lapeer, Point Fortin, we have an advantage of against many countries in the area and many different areas, because we were already in the oil and gas for many years. So we have certain things that no country has, and we can build on those things. A lot of companies worldwide, Trinidad is known to them. So it's not like we are not known to them. Okay, so have a look at this and let me know. This is session 2, point leases, billing point leases. I can discuss plenty much more on point leases, but I'm just trying to keep everything in a nutshell. Thank you again, and this is point leases. Thank you. Bye.